still happening.
What is?
I heard the piano playing by itself downstairs, and I found Callie on the floor of her room by her crib.
Well, maybe she climbed out of her crib. Has she ever done that before?
What? What is wrong with you?
Renee, I just want us to move on from this. That's all. I want us to be a normal family again.
There is nothing normal about this, okay? These things are still here. Okay. Elise is dead. No one's talking about it. Someone murdered her.
Then let's talk about it.
Was it easy to pick up where you left off from Insidious and get the cast back together and everybody, gel?
Luckily, we knew each other, knew where the story had been, so we, in a real shorthand with the director and the crew, helps.
Yeah, I think the first few days you're like, oh, okay, we're back again, and then it's sort of it was very easy. James is great, he really, it's a testament to him that literally everyone, cast and crew, came back.
Did you really believe that would help?
I had to. Whatever she did, it worked. Dalton woke up.
And what happened after your son woke up?
Josh!
Lynn, how surprised were you to hear you were coming back for Insidious Chapter 2? And Leigh, how important was it to work her back into the story?
I was very surprised and excited.
Especially since you were murdered in the first one.
Probably excited first and then surprised, but
yeah.
I was just really happy that they found a storyline that would work for me. There's things I could say, but I don't want to give away too much information. So unfortunately, that's all I have to say.
We can say that the good thing about making a movie involving ghosts is that it doesn't matter if your character dies.
That's what. And when we did the first one, James said, "I'm not sure I want you to die because if we do a sequel, if it's successful," and then we both sort of stopped for a minute, and he said, "Yeah," and I said, "We're writing a ghost." He says, "We have a ghost story here. Never mind."
It's a similar phone call, I'm sure, to the guy who played Jason in Friday the 13th. Yeah. I can imagine that phone call, like, guess what? He's not dead.
Yeah.
So now when you're working on a horror movie like Insidious Chapter 2, and it's very atmospherically terrifying, is it easy to go home at night and kind of put everything behind you, or are you looking over your shoulder?
It was pretty good. Mind you, I was renting a very big house that was very rattly. Well, it was fun.
Was it on, like...
It just didn't have a lock, and I get a little scared in LA anyway, but that's another interview, so let's just move on.
It was just exhausting.
Yeah, it was draining.
So I think your time is spent, when you're doing a movie like this in 26 days, you're concentrated on, okay, what are we doing today? And certainly
absolutely, yeah, it's a marathon. It's a little bit of a marathon.
Now, I felt there was more of a comedic effort this time. Specs and Tucker, especially. Was that intentional at all, or did that just kind of happen?
I think with the first film, we were very careful with the calibration of the comedic elements. We didn't. What we found out was that a little goes a really long way when you're making a horror film where people are that on edge. It's not like the Specs and Tucker characters were busting out these huge zingers. I just think that they were slightly funny, but the audience was so tense that they laughed a lot.
Yeah.
So it was like they were laughing more than it deserved, really. Yeah. And so, and some people, felt that the Specs and Tucker's characters, they didn't like them. They thought it was too funny in this horror film. With the sequel, we were like, well, everyone already knows what they're in for. Anyone who's coming to see Insidious 2, they know the characters, they know Elise, they know Specs and Tucker, and so we decided to just go for it.
Patrick, you have more freedom this time to, play your emotions, and you go from creepy to having to be, a normal person. Was that hard to kind of go from both extremes, and Rose dealing with that?
Thank you. You know what? Thank you. A lot of people haven't.
Of Patrick's personality.
Exactly.
Yes,
given me. Thank you.
They are extreme.
Yeah.
How do you deal with my mood swings? No, that's the fun. The fun is being able to, obviously it feels weird to. Actually, it doesn't feel weird to strangle Rose. It feels good.
Natural.
And strange. No. It feels natural.
What?
No, that's the fun. That's why you do it, Obviously, if you're going to do the same, come back with the same people, you don't want to just replay the same old scenes. You want to push the envelope.
So now your production company, Blumhouse, they do so much with horror, and you do other stuff, but mainly you're known for horror. So
That's right.
What sparked the interest there? What actually brought you to the genre in the first place?
Really, the business model is what brought me to it. I've always liked horror movies, but not over other kind of movies. I always liked all kinds of movies. I took a class in Hitchcock when I was in college, so I definitely responded to scary movies, but I really liked all kinds of movies. But I spent about 15 years trying to figure out what I wanted to do in the movie business, and Paranormal Activity happened, and Paranormal Activity kind of mixed my career, which is I'd spent half my career working for studios and half my career in independent film. And I really loved making movies on my own, but releasing them independently is really tricky. And I really loved, but I really didn't like making big movies for studios. So Paranormal Activity mixed both. It's an independent movie released by a studio. So I thought if I could continue doing that, that would be the right fit for me in the business.
How do you make Insidious look so scary so easily? Because so many films try to hit on that same vibe, the haunted house atmosphere, but both Insidious 1 and 2 were completely terrifying.
Oh, thanks for saying that. I mean, a lot of credit obviously goes to James in terms of the visual and the look of the film. He's the guy on the ground who's giving it that look, and I think that, horror, making something scary, it's so specific. It's not as easy as it looks. I think a lot of horror films I go and see, as a horror fan, I'm disappointed. I feel like they don't go all the way. It's kind of middling. They dilute the horror by sort of flooding the film with false scares. It's almost like they look at their watch and say, oh, it's been 5 minutes, we need another scare.
Yeah.
But the bad guy's not here yet, so let's just have the best friend knock on the car window and be like, hey, I forgot your keys. And it's like, James and I are sick of that, and we're not into that as horror fans. And so we really approach the genre with a lot of respect, and we kind of work hard on the scares. We do work hard, we don't take them lightly. So if you say that they're both very scary, I guess that's good because we did our jobs.
There's someone standing in front of you. He's talking to you.
What's he saying?
He's got your baby. 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 He's got your baby.
He's got your baby.